In this module, we're going to be looking at generative AI and security and how it fits into the bigger picture of things, right? So let's dive straight into it. Now, generative AI, by definition, does use the word AI, so it has to have something to do with artificial intelligence. So the question is what is artificial intelligence? So let's look at a concept here, right? So in social media, movies, and everywhere, we see these robots kind of like, walking around. And really, if you look at those robots, what those robots are doing and what amplifies the concept of artificial intelligence is they are mimicking human intelligence, right? They are mimicking the human behavior. And that's what artificial intelligence is, right? Is the ability to interact in the outside environment, learn, process, and act upon it, right? And really, that is what artificial intelligence is. Now, if you were at university and you were thinking of if you were thinking of majoring in artificial intelligence, typically the specialist fields were, computer science, physics, that kind of area, right? So that's what artificial intelligence is, right? So if we then move on to machine learning, that is a subset of artificial intelligence. And again, machine learning is a very broad field it is in its own, and it has a lot of different components within it. And really what machine learning is, if we decouple that wording, is to do with learning, right? It is that learning by itself, right? So basically in this machine learning, what you would typically do is you have to have some kind of models that you're training here, and then these models, when they are fully trained, they can be used to make predictions. Now, the thing here, which is kind of like unique with machine learning, is once you train it to do something, then it can then go on to make additional decisions and output by itself. You don't have to continuously. You use the trained materials to create a foundation, right? So that's what machine learning is, right? And really, if you look at what is the evolution of machine learning, then it is deep learning. So deep learning is again a subset of machine learning, and deep learning is kind of like thinking in terms of things where we are kind of like going much more deeper into the concept of machine learning, where we're actually now working with more complex things, right, than otherwise the machine learning would be dealing with, right? So some of these complex patterns is where deep learning comes into play. So really think of it machine learning, but taking it to the next level. Right, so that's what deep learning is, right? And again, during this course, we're going to dive a lot more deeper into deep learning, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, right? Now, another subfield of deep learning is generative AI, right? Now, generative AI is the field or the community that we're most interested in, right? Now, if we go back a little bit to the previous step of deep learning, one of the key components that deep learning brings to us is a concept called artificial neural networks, right? And artificial neural networks is, think of that as the human brain, right? It's really representing how that brain works, right? How it tries to mirror the workings of a brain, a human brain, right? So by definition, generative AI uses AI neural networks, right? So AI neural networks are used by generative AI, and really it is a type of artificial intelligence, right? And generative AI is really producing content, right? And what is often most confused is what is the kind of content that's produced, right? So it is new content that it is being presented with, and the type of content that we're thinking in terms of is think in terms of text, right? So just regular text, images, right? Audio, right? And things like that, right? So that's what generative AI is, right? And again, we're going to dive a lot more deeper into generative AI along with some of the other topics, right? So now the question is, now that we understand where generative AI fits into this bigger picture, where does security fit in, right? So really, Gen AI security is right next to generative AI, but the story doesn't stop there. What we really want to do is we really want to put security around this entire box, right? Because we want to be focusing security across this entire ecosystem, right? And what I mean by that is when we look at this whole diagram here, it consists of platforms, right? So think in terms of here, if we were to implement this and roll this out, it could be in Google Cloud. We have to make sure that our platform is secure Google Cloud, right? Software, there's a lot of software involved in here. We want to make sure our software is secure. If we're building new software, we're building new Gen AI apps, etc., we want to make sure it's secure. Again, secure SDLC, software development lifecycle. Again, we're going to be using a lot of tools. We want to make sure the tools are secure both in its input and its output. And APIs. Throughout all this, we're interacting with all these components using APIs, right? And API security is very important. Think in terms of tokens, think in terms of authorizations, authentications, right? Encryption, right? So API, very important here, right? And data, the heart of all this at the core is data that we're using to train the models, data that we're expecting as output, data that is proprietary when we create these models, the learning aspects of it, both the machine and the deep learning. Data is very important, so security has to be around the data. And something else that I've actually just put in here as a thought idea is really content, right? So we have to now begin to think in terms of content, because as I mentioned earlier, generative AI is all about content, producing content, new content, right? So when we think in terms of that, is how do we securely protect the content that we're producing? So some of these content may be proprietary if we're building proprietary Gen AI systems. So something to think about it. And then again, we're going to get that into more deeper into later stages, right? So that concludes today's module. And if you like this video, click on the like button. And if you subscribe, you'll be able to be notified when new modules come out as part of this course. Thank you.